Yeah, good day viewers. Welcome to Easy Learning tutorial class for physics, Waec physics question and answer. We are here to deal with Waec physics question and what answer. And what I have for you today is this question that Waec asked 2020, 2014, and that's the question part 1. First question in part 1. In Waec physics, I have a part 1 question and part 2 question. The next video we are going to post will send to you. We are going to deal with part 2 question of Waec. This is part 1 question of Waec, and this question comes from 2014 Waec question number 1. Then looking at this, they say a particle is projected horizontally at 10 meters per second from the top of a tower 20 meters high. Calculate the horizontal distance traveled by the particle when it hits the level ground. Excuse me. So we go to solution to this question. First of all, let us look at the characteristics of an object. Characteristics of an object through horizontally. Characteristics of objects that is horizontally projected from a height. Let us look at the characteristics of this. An object that projected horizontally from a height. That means I just threw something away from a window. Maybe I'm in a vehicle, I threw something away from a window. Let's see the properties he possesses so that we can be able to use it to calculate what we have. So look at it. I have this and this man. If I project something away, it will move this way. And it will move a little before it will land. And this is the initial velocity which I use to push it away. Initial velocity which I use to push it away. That it must land and not fall on the ground. And this initial velocity must not be equal to 0. So for me to push it away means that I have a velocity. That means the initial velocity is not 0. That's what this interpretation means. Then, and I begin to say that ux, which is initial velocity, is not equal to 0. The reason why, and it has no what? No vertical component. No vertical what? Component. No vertical component. Can you follow me? No vertical component. Reason. And a force can only have vertical components if it has inclined. There's if a force like this is inclined towards an angle. If inclined to an angle, that's when this man will not have vertical and horizontal component. But as far as that force moves horizontally or vertically, it has no what? Vertical or horizontal component. So that's what it means. Since this man is moving horizontally, he has no vertical component. Then we noted that. And again, we have that Vx, that's a linear velocity, is equals to, linear velocity is initial x plus gx and t. And is equals to what? Uxy. Because in a horizontal motion, gx is equals to 0. Are you getting what I'm saying? In a horizontal motion, if an object is moving in a horizontal, acceleration due to gravity has no effect on that. If an object is moving like that, acceleration due to gravity has no effect on it. That's acceleration due to gravity on x-axis. That's what I mean. Gx on x-axis is equals to what? 0. Meaning that acceleration due to gravity only affects object that is moving upward or falling down. It has no effect on the horizontal motion. So when you take this as 0 and put here, I will have that Vx is equals to Ux. You know that this is a linear motion formula, which will say that velocity is equals to U plus what? At. Are you getting what I'm saying now? In this case, we say V is equals to initial velocity plus what? Gt. Are you getting what I'm saying? At this point now, we are talking about what? Motion on a upward. That's A turn to G. That's why you see this. It's a linear, Newton's linear motion formula. That's what we're using. So this man is equals to this. I think you have noted it. For this characteristics of this man is equals to this. Then let us look at again that y, vertical component of this man, is equals to uy plus gt, which I stated here. Look at it, plus gt, this one now, and is equals to gt. Why? We know that uy is equals to 0. Are you get what I'm saying now? So when I see that characteristics of this man, that vertical initial velocity of vertical, as this man is falling down, he has no initial velocity of falling down is equals to what? 0. That's vertical. If I have this, okay, let's move ahead. Then this means that Vy is equals to what? Gt. Excuse me. Gt. So now, if I stated this, it means that this man moved this way, and this man moved this way. It means that this man, U, final velocity, is equals to initial velocity. And again, that Vy, which he used to fall down, is equals to what? Gt. Good? Then now, can we move ahead? And I can say that what? This man is equals to this. Then another things we needed to note, I said note also that, note that the objects, note that the objects take the same time to reach the ground as if it was. Okay, let me write it down. The object takes the same time to reach the ground, as though it's dropped from the heights h. Note that the object takes the same time to reach the ground as though it is dropped from the height. So this object you throw from the window of a vehicle will land at the same time as you just drop it like this. As you throw it, it will land on the ground as if you drop it like this. So the horizontal motion has no effect on the time it will use to hit the ground. The time it will use to hit the ground is the same as if it's being dropped this way. That's characteristics of X. So now, if that is the case, we can now say toss. Using the formula, we can now say that what? Toss. H, which is what? U x uy t plus 1/2 gt squared. If I have that, I can now say, remember what we said, that this man, uy is equals to 0. That's the characteristics of this man. That uy is equals to 0. I will have h is equals to, if I put this to be 0 here, h will be equals to 1/2 gt squared. Then cross multiplication, this implies that h is equals to gt squared over 2, and this is over 1. Cross multiplication, I can have that my t squared is equals to 2g all over what? This. And making this subject of formula, I will have that my t time is equals to square root of what? 2h all over what? G. And this is the time it will use to land on the ground. That means t is equals to square root of 2h over what? G. From this lesson, I have this over 2. This is something as this, and h over 1 cross multiplication. I can make this subject of formula. You know what I did here? Then that's what I did. Then now, that's the time it will use. This is what I needed to put in my brain. I have to remember this. This is the time it will use to hit the ground. Then let us look again that horizontal distance. Can I clean here? Let's clean here. Let me take away here. Horizontal distance. Horizontal distance. Horizontal distance, horizontal distance traveled, horizontal distance traveled equals to range. Horizontal distance travel is equals to range, and range is equals to initial velocity times time. You know that when you say range, range means distance. And what is distance? Distance is equal to velocity times time, which is initial velocity times what time. And is equals to ux. What's the time? The time is square root of what? 2h over what? G. So I can write this as this or this. Then, since we have known that, let me also clear this flex. Since we have known that, I can also say again that this is what I needed to put in my brain. Get me right? Then now, I have again that the resultant velocity at time t is given by, let me clear here. Resultant velocity is given by that v is equals to square root of vx squared plus vy squared, and this is something as square root of v squared plus gt all what? Squared. Why did I say that? You remember how we get resultant velocity? We said this man moved this way, and his what? Final velocity is equals to initial velocity from the characteristics. And that one falling, which is this, is what? Vy is equals to gt. Then resultant velocity, which is this, which we'll call resultant velocity, which is v, and this place is a theta, which we call phi, the direction of resultant velocity. I can now use Pythagorean theory to say this man squared is equals to any of these I choose, which I will say v or u, vx squared plus any of this, which is vy squared, making this man subject of formula. I have this to be square root of what? Vx squared plus vy squared. And I can change this man to be this. I can change this man to be this. This is why I put this. Are you get what I'm saying now? I can change this man to be this, gt, and I will square it. Look at it. I can change this man to be u, which is this about it here. And that's what we did. Then now, that's what we call resultant what? Velocity. This is how I get resultant velocity. Then we now look at again direction. And I say that this tan of phi, what's the phi? The direction of the what? Resultant velocity. And is equals to, and how did I get the direction of the resultant velocity? The angle which resultant velocity will make with horizontal. The angle which resultant velocity will make with horizontal is the direction of that what? Resultant velocity. Resultant velocity is the angle which, and the direction of resultant velocity is the angle which that resultant velocity make with the what? Horizontal. Look at it, horizontal. So now, taking it, I cannot say that is what? Vy over what? Vx, and is equals to what? I cannot say that this is something as what? Gt, which is this man, over ux. Are you get what I'm saying now? Then the direction, which is what? Theta is phi is equals to tan inverse, the direction, this is the direction, the tan inverse of either Vy over Vx or gt over ux. That's the direction of resultant what velocity. Now let us solve the equation they give us. With this, I can answer now. Let's solve the equation. That's where the solution starts. Solution of that question starts. What they ask us is what? Horizontal distance traveled. Horizontal distance traveled. I can now say that what? Horizontal distance traveled, which we know as range as well, is something as range, which is equals to what? Ux times what? Time. And where my ux is equals to 10 meter per second. That's what they said. They used to throw it. And my t is equals to square root of 2h over g. And what's the h? They give me h, the height of this, to be what? 20, which is 2 times what? 20 all over 10. They give me g 10 from the question. Then now we can complete it here. I can tell here to complete it as we're solving it now. Let's complete it here. We cannot say that what? That this gives me the square roots of what? 4. Because 2 times 20 give me 40. 40 divided by 10 will give me 4. And the square root will give me 2 seconds. I've gotten t. T to be what? Equals to 2 seconds. Then how will I say horizontal distance, which is range, is equals to ux t, which is what? 10 times 2, which give me what? 20 meter. And that's the unit, meter. The range is meter, which is distance. And that's the answer of what they asked us to calculate. Our calculation for that question started from here. And what I've been doing is to give you the characteristics which you needed to put in your brain. The characteristics of horizontal throw of an object from a what? A height. If I throw an object horizontally from a what? Any height, or from vehicle, or from a tower, or from any place, I throw it horizontally. That the time it will use to land on the ground is what? This. And the horizontal distance is a what? Range, which is what? Velocity times time. These things I needed to put in my brain anytime we are asked you an object is thrown horizontally from a height. That's the only thing they will change. They will change the value, but statement will be the same. What is the statement? Throw horizontally from a what? A height. Then we have to note this, the time it will use to land, number 1. And the vertical, that's a v, vy is equals to, what I mean, uv is equals to 0. Are you getting what I'm saying now? That uv is equals to 0. And also that vy is equals to gt. And also that what? ux is equals to vx. These things we needed to know. Are you getting what I'm saying? That's what we know. And the gx is equals to 0. Meaning that acceleration due to gravity have no effect on what? Horizontal motion. And when it doesn't have effect on the horizontal motion, if you substitute it here, if I have now h equals to ux and plus 1 over 2 gt, this man will become 0. I'll have this equals to this. So that's the reason why I have h equals to what? Ut. Then now, from this, if we get this right, we know we have covered the question on horizontal throw of Waec question. No matter how they put the question, whether they change the value, you have to know the major thing you need to know. These characteristics are listed for you now. You digest it in your brain before entering into the hall. You digest that characteristics before entering into the hall. That means you have tackled the question, you have settled everything pertaining horizontal throw of a what? A projectile. And this is what I have for you today. I love this channel. Subscribe. The subscription is free. And relate to your friend about this channel. Comment and share. Thank you and see you in the next video. Thank you.